Most people think why is just a question. For a lot of us, it doesn't land that way. Your partner asks why you can't go to dinner. Your boss asks why you can't stay late. Your friend asks why you need to take space. And before they've even finished asking, you're already explaining, defending, and justifying. Somewhere in that split second, you've stopped checking in with yourself and started checking whether the other person approves. I call these the invisible moments. The moments we usually miss because they happen so quickly. They're the moments that quietly shape the way we relate to ourselves and the people we love. I'm Nicole Byrne, a licensed marriage and family therapist, and today I want to slow down one of the most common ones. Most conversations about over-explaining focus on the explaining itself. Stop justifying yourself. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Just say no. And honestly, there's truth in that. But I'm interested in something else. I'm interested in the moment before the explaining begins, because that's usually where the real story is. Here's what I've noticed. The women that I work with usually are not afraid of the question. They're afraid of what their mind immediately makes the question mean. Did I disappoint you? Did I miss something? Am I in trouble? Are you upset with me? Suddenly you're no longer answering a question. You're managing someone else's reaction. A minute ago, you knew why you made your decision. Now you're watching their face, trying to figure out whether your decision is still okay. For someone who spent years trying to be the good kid, the easy one, the rule follower, why can stop feeling like curiosity, and it can start feeling like, convince me you're allowed to do this. If you grew up in relationships where keeping the peace mattered and being agreeable helped keep things calm, where your needs sometimes felt inconvenient, your mind became incredibly good at scanning for signs that something might be wrong. So sometimes a simple why became one of those signs, so you learned to explain. Explaining became one of the ways you protected connection. And honestly, it probably works sometimes. It helped people understand you, it smoothed things over, it reduced conflict, and made relationships feel safer, which is exactly why your mind still reaches for it today. But the part that can be really painful is that explaining eventually stops giving us what we're actually looking for. We explain because we're hoping the other person will say, oh, that makes perfect sense. And then the discomfort that we feel inside will disappear. And sometimes they do, but when we're explaining from a place of fear instead of choice, it rarely brings lasting relief. Because what we're actually trying to soothe isn't their confusion, it's our own fear that we've done something wrong. So we add more context, more reasons, more evidence. We're hoping that if we just can find the perfect explanation, we'll finally feel okay. But underneath all of that, we're often looking for something much deeper than understanding. We're looking for permission, for our decision to be okay, for permission for our experience to be valid, permission to trust ourselves. And another person cannot give us that. The relief you're longing for isn't on the other side of a better explanation, it's on the other side of trusting yourself. Now, I don't want you to leave this video thinking you should never explain yourself. Sometimes explaining is a beautiful part of intimacy. Sometimes you explain because you genuinely want someone you love to understand your experience. That's connection. The difference is subtle. In one version, you're sharing your perspective. In the other version, you're trying to earn permission to have one. These two conversations can sound almost identical, but they feel completely different inside your body. So here's what I'd love for you to experiment with this week. The next time someone asks why, take a moment and pause, and before you answer, if you can, ask yourself, am I sharing because I want to be understood, or am I explaining because I'm hoping they'll make my decision feel okay? And here's another question. If they never agreed with me, if they never completely understood, would I still believe this decision makes sense? Because that's where self-trust begins. Not when everyone understands you, but when you remain connected to yourself, even if they don't. Maybe you'll still explain, maybe you won't. That's actually not the part I'm most interested in. The part I care about is this. Can you stay connected to yourself while you answer? Can you let someone misunderstand you without assuming you've done something wrong? Can you remember that your decision doesn't become more valid because someone else agrees with it? Understanding is wonderful. Connection is wonderful. But neither one is what makes your experience real. If this resonated, I've linked a recent blog and another video below that explore what self-abandonment looks like, and why it so often feels like love instead of something we recognize as a pattern. And if you've been watching these videos thinking, I understand the pattern, I just don't know how to stop it, that's the work that I do with clients. I offer a free 20-minute consultation if you'd like to learn more. I'll link that below, and I'll see you in the next invisible moment.